Hi, Steve Farber here, coming to you today from Santa Rosa, California, on a little bit of a road trip to work with my friends at Keysight Technologies and attend a conference. So anyway, over on the blog at stevefarber.com, we've recently put up an infographic called 10 Public Speaking Tips for Company Leaders. Now, these tips would apply to anybody. You don't have to be a leader to use them. But, you know, I've been doing this public speaking thing for 2.5 decades. I'm a leadership keynote speaker, what some would generically refer to as a motivational speaker. I'm not sure how I feel about that particular term, but, you know, I'll take it because that's the that seems to be the common language. But anyway, I have learned a few things over the years from doing this kind of work that I tried to encapsulate in a nice handy format that anybody can use. So whether you're sorry, my eye's just watering. It's not that I'm making myself overly emotional about this. But whatever you're doing that requires you to stand up in front of a room, whether you're addressing your team or you're speaking to your company or you're talking to clients or customers or you're just, you know, getting up in front of your family for that matter, I suppose, these principles will help you. But I do think they are particularly important for people taking on a leadership role. So I outlined 10 of them for you. And today I just wanted to focus on one, which I refer to as having a plan B. So a lot of times, you know, we will, if we're going to be giving a talk to somebody, we spend a lot of time rehearsing, we get our stories right, you know, we go over the slides again and again and again, if you're using PowerPoint slides, which by the way, I think is okay. So let's say, for example, you've got your whole speech set up around slides and you know the flow of this thing, man. I mean, you have it down cold from slide 1 to slide 2 to slide 3 to slide 4, and you know when you're timing and you got it all worked out. Then the day finally arrives, you step up to the front of the room, you fire up your computer, you hit the clicker, and nothing happens. Your PowerPoint presentation fails to load. What do you do then? If everything you've done is predicated on your knowing what slide's coming next, you're kind of, what's the technical term for it? Screwed in that moment. Or what would happen if the power went out in the venue, in the room, in the building? Now you have no lights, no microphone, no computer, no nothing, just you in the darkness and your audience. Now, that's not a hypothetical scenario. Early on in my career, that's exactly what happened to me. I was responsible for delivering a very important pilot workshop to a new client at the company that I was working for at the time. And this was about 120 people in the room. It was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And this was kind of a way to launch the program. And if this program went well, we had the opportunity to do a really big project that was going to last for several years, bring in lots of revenue, keep a lot of people working, and do a great job for our clients. So there was a lot of pressure on me, and I was fairly new to this company and new in this profession, as a matter of fact. So I got up there in front of this group of 120 people, and in the back of the room there were some of the executives from the company just there to check it out and to check me out, frankly, to see if they would if they thought I was appropriate for the company and if I was going to do a good job and all that stuff. So tons of pressure. And I made it through the morning. It was going really well. The group was really engaged. We broke for lunch. We came back, and this was in the middle of summer. And in late in the afternoon, all the power went out in the building. So that meant no lights, no microphone, no air conditioning, no nothing. Now, if I had been entirely dependent on my slides, I would have been dead. Not only would I have been dead, the project would have been dead, most likely, and I don't know how long it would have taken me to live that down. But fortunately, I did have the content down cold. I knew it inside and out. I'd practiced it a lot. I'd had some experience with it. I'd really made sure that I understood all the nuances of it. So instead of freaking out, I would say something like, hey, just, imagine that you're looking at a blue slide with a cartoon of, whatever. I would talk it through. But the hotel staff, who were wonderful, they brought in candles, and we actually ran for the next hour or so on candlelight. And we had a great time. And what was interesting about it in retrospect was the clients, the executives that were there from the client company were so impressed by the fact that it didn't even cause a hiccup, that power outage, and that people really had a great time and everything went along as planned. It actually made it better. It gave me and the company even more credibility because we were able to ride through the unanticipated mess. So that's what I would like you to consider is if you're giving any kind of a presentation, whether it's whether you have a little piece of the agenda at an upcoming meeting or you're responsible for an entire full-blown presentation, know it cold. Practice it to the point where you have it, as some call it in this business, on your backbone, right? It becomes a part of your DNA because that will give you the opportunity to not only adjust if something goes wrong with the technology, but to adjust your approach if you're not having quite the impact that you wanted on or the connection that you're having with your audience. You can adjust right on the spot, and then you're actually being more of a facilitator as opposed to a presenter. And it really gives you the opportunity to connect with people in the moment and adapt to what they need right now. Because if you're always thinking about what's coming next, it doesn't really give you the opportunity to connect and tune in with where people are in the moment and the way that they're responding to your message. So there are 9 other great points to consider over on our infographic at stevefarber.com. So I invite you to come on over, take a look, download it, share it. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this. Lots more to come. Lots more to learn about extreme leadership. This is Steve Farber. Talk to you soon.